Yeah, you think of food paintings and you think of like 17th, 18th century foods. You think of, the bowl of fruit. You think of the moody lighting and it's like dark and you have like maybe there's like the hanging duck or the like pheasant or like whatever it is. And I'm like, that is fine for of the times. They didn't have Pop-Tarts. So...
That was Melan Allen, a San Francisco born and raised large-scale food artist. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a podcast all about the artists, activists, and small businesses that make this city so unique. This episode picks up where part 1 ended. We begin with a discussion of how art found its way from Melan's imagination to the canvas. We talk about the important role that food has in her life and her art. And we end with Melan explaining what We're All In It means to her. Here's Melan.
I feel comfortable. I feel most myself when I am creating something.
Okay.
And I mean that in like, it is therapy. It is how I get to know myself.
Yeah.
It is how I put myself out in the world. It is how people know me. Right? I cannot, if I cannot create, I cannot be myself.
Yeah.
And I need to have that.
Like if someone wanted to punish you, it would be to disallow or prevent you from
here's the thing. The thing
art.
about being crafty is you can be crafty
anywhere, anytime.
Anywhere. I fully believe that if somebody was like, here's, I'm going to make... you're going to just sit in a cubicle or something. I will find a way to craft a cubicle into something beautiful.
Right.
I will find a way to do something.
I believe you 100%.
And I don't know. I can't not do it.
Do you remember a time in your life when you weren't like this? Or have you always been like this?
No, I've always been like
yeah?
this.
Okay. So it's not like one day you're just like, I'm going to try this art thing.
No. I came out this way.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was born this way. I felt like I could not... It depends on the era of my life too, because I started off doing musical theater and stuff like that. I wanted to be a tap dancer when I was a kid. I wanted to be Shirley Temple for sure.
Okay.
I wanted to be Shirley Temple.
From the Bay Area? Am I crazy? I think she was from here somewhere.
Or just
Greater Bay Area.
Yeah, like Petaluma or one of those like Half Moon Bay type places or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. You're not wrong. I'll say that.
I'll
You're not
fact check
wrong.
myself later.
Yeah, fact check that later. But yeah, I don't know. Like that's, I did that. I just leapfrog from creative outlet to creative outlet. I did drag for a while too, which is a whole other thing. And then I found painting like 4 years ago, and I was like, no, we're not doing anything else. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you did find painting relatively recently.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, and I'll just tell the story of how I met you.
Yeah.
It was over this past summer at Fillmore Jazz Fest, which oddly wasn't in the Fillmore, but on Fillmore. Anyway, I was over there with some friends, and we came across a booth. I can't remember if we saw you or your art first. It doesn't matter. Both, we were just like, what is this? Because all of the art had food and, if I'm remembering correctly, either a Muni transfer or like a fast pass and a certain item of food. And then you were wearing head to toe, I don't know if it's a onesie or a two-piece, but like fried egg outfit, and we were just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Met you.
Yeah.
We're charmed. Because I think, if I remember correctly, also you're all, I don't like eggs.
Yeah.
You don't like
eggs.
to eat eggs.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were just further intrigued.
Yeah.
And then, so I know you as a painter, but you're saying that's kind of a relative, despite your entire life, being expressive, being creative,
Yeah.
the specific act and art of painting is new to you.
Yes.
How'd you find it?
Okay, so I have always had a fascination with food in general. My mom loved cooking and baking shows. And like, this was like before the Food Network,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
like this was before you had like all these YouTube videos and all this. You basically had PBS. That's it.
It's like the legacy of Julia Child. There's eventually Martha Stewart,
right.
like all that shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I watched a lot of Julia Child. So much Julia Child. Jacques Pepin, do you remember? Yes.
He doesn't live here, but he has a big old connection with KQED.
Yes.
He's always here.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
So Jacques Pepin, they had their show together. I watched that a lot.
Yes.
Yan Can Cook.
Yeah, from here.
Yep. And then, Martha Stewart Living, that was on, like, in the later years. She came on, like, a little bit later after, like...
Later and not from here.
Yes.
We don't hold that against Martha, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if she wasn't from here, I would be fine with that.
Totally.
And so I watch all those, like, more than Saturday morning cartoons. I watched this.
Oh, wow.
Like,
because your mom was watching it? Like, that's how you kind of got into it?
She's like, no, we're watching this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care that Scooby-Doo is on.
Right.
We're going to watch Julia Child make this thing.
Okay.
And so there's this feeling of seeing this food being made right in front of your eyes. And you're like, I've never had this food. I've never tasted this food. It's just here. And I got frustrated, but I also really enjoyed just the feeling of seeing it. And the joy of plating, the joy of just like having this wonderful thing in front of you.
Yeah.
And so I also loved cookbook illustrations.
Yeah. Yep.
The 50s and 60s for cookbooks is just like, it's like a renaissance. It is seriously, they had such a wonderful way of laying the food out and making it look really pretty. And I would look through that like it was a regular, picture book. And so I don't know. There's just something about food and the way it looks and the way it's plated and the way it looks so delicious, and you're like, it instantly puts you in that place of like, yeah, I'm hungry and I want it, and like, I love that. So I was always kind of fascinated by food. I don't know if it clicked to me that I would be a food painter, like that I would end up doing that. That surprised me, honestly.
And that is, if I may, I think that's what you do, or one aspect of what you do now.
Yeah.
Who knows in the future?
I know, yeah. Exactly, yeah. 100%. I don't think that I'd be surprised if I could do this forever.
Right.
And I mean that as a creative person, not
you
just
definitely would never run out of content.
I have a fear of running out of content a lot.
But there is, I mean, I guess it might not be personal to you, but like food, I feel like is just infinite.
Oh yeah. There's
you
so
take
much.
like 2 raw ingredients and you can make 1,000 different things from that.
Yeah.
And then you introduce other ingredients, like it just goes on and on and on.
And not only that, but like I like to do, so most of the food that I end up painting are not, I don't like the standard like, oh, food painting of a bowl of grapes.
right. Still life.
A peach.
Yeah, right.
A dead duck.
Yeah.
That
Isn't
kind
that how
of
you
like,
learn? That's supposed to be like elementary school
that's,
or something. I don't know.
I think that's bullshit. But
Yeah.
you could like,
paint other things.
Honestly, there's so much you can paint.
Yeah.
Right? And I hate the feeling of being boxed in, being like, okay, you're doing a still life. Your still life is of fruit.
Right.
Or of, like you think of Yeah, you think of food paintings and you think of like 17th, 18th century foods. You think of, the bowl of fruit. You think of the moody lighting and it's like dark and you have like maybe there's like the hanging duck or the like pheasant or like whatever it is. And I'm like, that is fine for of the times. They didn't have Pop-Tarts. So
we can definitely get some images if we may.
Yeah.
Or point people to like your portfolio site or something like that, but because I want listeners to see. But can you describe maybe a couple of the pieces I saw at Fillmore Jazz Fest that day?
Yeah, so, some people think that I'm just sweet foods, but I think I'm a little, I got savory stuff going on.
I saw like a generic Chinese takeout box, one of the little boxes, right? Or,
so you're talking
like
about the dim sum.
The dim sum or some
one.
dumplings.
Yeah, there's
or
some
something,
dumplings. So like I like to bring like food painting into like the modern era. So there's waffles, there's Pop-Tarts, there's Pocky, there's what else do I like? Donuts of all different shapes and stuff, cake, just things that are indulgent and pretty carb heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that time of year now.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
You gotta fatten up for winter.
Right.
Let's be real.
So, but I did do those Muni pieces.
Yes.
And that was for a show called Muni Raise Me. That was in Soma Arts, like earlier in the year.
Yeah, I remember
March.
that. So you were in that.
I was in that.
Cool.
I did 4 pieces for them. And they were like, I want Muni-related art. But I'm like, okay, yeah, but I got to put some food in there.
Yeah. It's a marriage made in heaven.
Right. So I was like, I got to do that.
Wasn't the story you told me that day when I met you that those pieces were like there are memories that go with that, whether it was a fast pass or a transfer, they have dates or months. And then the food, there was like memories that tied together.
Yeah, so there are 3 pieces. The Muni fast passes are 3 pieces, and then I did a transfer because I had to do a transfer.
Got it.
I had to.
Yeah, 100%. They don't exist anymore.
I know, exactly.
The
and I knew
fuck?
that like if I just did the Muni fast passes, that everyone would be like, well, where's the transfer?
Right. And to be fair, fast passes don't exist either.
Yeah, right. So
whatever, San Francisco.
Muni, get on it. So the fast passes tell a story of the city. So there's a youth, there's an adult, and then there's a senior. The youth has like springtime colors. It's a pastel, pink and green, and it has some dim sum on it, some buns, and that I paired with the youth because I wanted it to be it's the youngest part of your life in the city. The springtime is like the perfect time for like kids, and there's just like
to grow.
It's like it's a growth and change, and there's I felt like the dim sum and the colors and the youth really went together. Then you have the adult, which is more moody. It has like a pink and a blue, and it has a mission burrito. I will not say which one it is because I have
we have
burrito
opinions.
Thoughts, and I don't want to offend anybody. But I did a burrito for adult because that's a time of freedom, but it's also a time of being able to you get your burrito late at night. The dark colors are more like you're growing up, you're learning a little bit more, you're and the burrito is like, I don't know, there's a little bit of freedom that associated to me about the burrito because there's that feeling of I don't know, I just remember being in my early 20s and it's 2 a.m. and you get your burrito and you're coming home and you eat it on the bus and you're just I'm an adult. There's that feeling of something's there.
Satiation.
Right.
It's like you would have survived without it,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't thrive.
But
When you get that
also-
burrito and you're like, I am complete, the day is over.
Yeah. There's just there is like the sense of completion, but it's also that feeling of like, look at me in this city. Like enjoying it to the max.
I love that.
And like
yes.
having that burrito at the end of the night is like the nail on that coffin, just being like, yeah, like I am like.
I'm getting chills over here because I literally did this last night.
Yeah.
I was over in the Mission because the bar, the Uptown, is closing down. And yeah, we had a happy hour and we forgot to eat.
Yeah.
And then we went and got
burritos
burritos.
are always there.
And yeah, to the
Yeah.
extent I feel good today, it's because of that burrito.
Yeah, it really is. So then there's the third one is Irish coffee. It has the yellow and orange motif. And the Irish coffee, as we know, as most people know, Irish coffee was basically born here.
Yes.
And it's been here the entire time.
Is it a specific Irish coffee that you painted?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the Buena Vista one.
Okay, yes. Shout out Buena Vista.
And I...
Still a rad place. I went there recently.
Yeah, well, I have to go there because they now follow me on Instagram because I painted this thing.
Hell yeah.
And I want to give them, their props and, give them, a little postcard or something.
Yeah.
I haven't done that yet, but I need to do it. So I intentionally did that one because I'm like, this is the oldest thing that I can think of that is associated with San Francisco. It's been here forever. Of course, it's the Senior Fast Pass. Of course it is.
I love it.
So those tell the story of the city, and I ended up painting them because when I was growing up, I would go down to Powell Street to get my Fast Pass every month, and then I would go and get myself a little treat.
Yes.
So, Fast passes meant at the very beginning, Melan's about to get a little morsel of something, and being able to travel and go somewhere and get those kinds of foods everywhere you go, there's just a feeling of that freedom of, unlimited rides, unlimited foods, unlimited freedom. So,
and that's how we do.
Yeah.
Here. Most of us, a lot of us, we get around on Muni. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I never really did anything else when I lived here. Every once in a while I get an Uber or whatever, but I'm gotta put in that hour on Muni
to get 6 blocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Muni. Our motto, walking is faster.
It's gotten better, but yeah.
You can't hate Muni unless you love it.
Yeah, that's true.
Boom. It's a symbol of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would like to wrap with 2 things.
Okay.
Can you tell people how to find you, and or if you have any upcoming shows? Meaning find you, web presence, socials,
all the
that.
things. So my website is melanallen.com. Very simple. My socials, I'm on TikTok and on Instagram at Melan Made That. Very easy to find me. If you just Google Melan, I will probably show up.
Okay.
So, I'm very accessible.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any projects. I feel like I'm just finishing up so many different projects that I'm literally going to be hibernating next year.
New year, new...
Yeah, I have a couple of things that I'm
horizons.
just trying to figure out, but most of this stuff, I got some painting to do. I haven't painted in a really long time. I've been traveling for shows for the last 3 months.
Okay, wow.
And that's why I'm taking a 3-month vacation, and I'm trying to find some new things to paint. So if anybody wants to share any food that needs to be painted,
I'm making a paella tomorrow. Just throwing that out there.
Wow.
I like to make paella. It's one of my favorite things to make.
I feel like that's hard to do.
It's not hard. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's so fucking rewarding.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're just like starting with random garlic and onions. You're like, well, that's the basis of everything.
Yeah.
And then you throw the saffron and the paprika in there, and it's like a whole transformation happens.
Oh my gosh.
So fun. I was recently asked, I had to rephrase this person's question. They said, what do you make to impress people?
Oh.
And I was like, well, I don't really do it to impress people.
Oh,
I do it because of the joy it brings me, and then you end up with a bunch of paella, and it's delicious.
No, so. I am a highly competitive person.
Okay.
And I love to show up and show out for food.
Okay.
So,
well then let me ask you, and again, I'll rephrase my friend's question. What's the maybe number one thing that brings you joy and brings other people joy? We're talking food now.
No, number one thing that brings me joy, cake.
Okay.
I love cake.
Okay.
I cannot live without cake.
Fair enough.
Any kind of cake, basically. I don't enjoy ones with fruit in it because I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah.
But like any kind of cake is fine, and I think that's probably what I would do to, like, if I had to win someone over, if I had to show up and show out, that's what I would do.
Okay. That wasn't my second question, by the way.
Well,
Things to end it. No, I wanted to end with
yes,
with
that's true.
With how to find you, and then we're in our 6th season on this show.
Yeah.
Every season we have a different theme. I don't know if you visited our website, but our theme this season is We're All in It.
Okay.
What does that mean to you? I think there's been elements of that we've talked about, just telling your born and raised story.
Yeah.
But what does that mean to you? We're all in it.
I think, so I've always been really into community aspects. Before I was a full-time artist, I was a community manager.
Oh, okay.
And I also did like marketing and growth and all that stuff. And I think that like hearing people's stories is a part of creating a community, and being able to take on and share some of the loads that happen around us makes it easier for a community to build. And I think that that's what it means to me, is that not only is it that San Francisco, first of all, San Francisco in general, so friendly. Everyone who lives here, so friendly. You can talk to anyone. You can get anything from anyone at any time, and they would love to give it to you.
Fair enough.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that bringing people together, making people come together, see their community, it's how people stay, it's how things grow. And so I think that that's what We're All in It means, is that it's about the growth that comes from getting to know your community.
That was artist Melan Allen. Check back again this Thursday for a bonus episode on past guest and friend of the show Vander Hill of Whack Donuts. That'll be available 2 days from now, wherever you get podcasts. Music for Storied San Francisco was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast is our contributing producer. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 6th season, we have more than 200 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're able to, please rate and review the show, and drop us a line at storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Keep rejecting those silly doom loop narratives about our city. Stay wacky, weird, healthy, and creative. And we'll see you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history, and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.
This podcast is a proud member of the BFF.FM podcast network. Learn more at podcast.bff.fm.
BFF.FM, best frequencies forever.